One of the worst rides in Pigeon Forge or a national treasure? In today's video, we'll look at Jurassic Boat ride and try to figure it out. Welcome to Bear Facts, where we explore the Smoky Mountains one bear fact at a time. The Jurassic Boat ride has made it to a lot of top lists in the Smoky Mountains, but not always in a good way. They have been included in the most boring rides list, most slowest rides, and the top worst attractions in the Smoky Mountains, and that's just to name a few. In fact, this ride has so many bad reviews that people ride it just to see how bad it can be. Dark ride enthusiasts come from all over the country to check out this bizarre ride, giving it life and keeping it going. But what is the Jurassic Boat ride and how did it make those lists? Let's start with some basic information about the ride and go from there. First off, the Jurassic Boat ride is a dark ride on 441 in Pigeon Forge. Its location across from the island makes it highly visible and in the perfect location for tourists to see. The facade was well crafted. When you're looking at it, you see a large waterfall with two dinosaurs fighting it out on a rocky cliff. The fake anthropologists say stage standing around the queue was an absolute ingenious idea. At first glance, you don't realize that they are faceless mannequins wearing adventure outfits with hats, at least not from the road. These mannequins give traveling tourists the illusion that there is a line of people trying to get in or wait for their turn. I'm not sure if that was the intention, but that's the effect that the ride gives. Like I said, genius. I mean, who wants to go on a ride that's empty? And the pigeons give it more depth. Do you think they feed them to keep there? Because they just fit right in. There is no doubt that the ride has fallen into disrepair. If you look at the mannequins, there's actual mold growing on their clothes. Inside, the animatronics are showing their age. Some are not working very well, if at all, and their motion is jerky. As you ride through, it's clear that the resetting of the mechanics of each scene is also becoming a problem. This became very evident during the final scene, which I'll talk about later. Now, since I never rode on the ride in its heyday, I couldn't tell you if that was normal or not. Maybe that was just the tech at the time. Either way, it's clear that the ride could use some updating and some much needed TLC. The ride itself was opened in early 2000s and it's privately owned. In the search I did, information is very scarce. It's reported that it was a multi-million-dollar family attraction that, at its time, incorporated state-of-the-art animatronics. Try saying that 3 times fast. I also read somewhere that the dinosaurs were created by a prop company. Not sure if that's true, but if anyone else knows, please inform the rest of the class because I'm curious. I could find no information online about the company and went so far as to do a property tax search. Surprise, surprise, it's owned by the Jurassic Jungle Boat Ride Company, though there is an address for mailing in Illinois. And if I was reading that right, they really don't pay much property taxes for the 700,000 foot building and the adjacent property. Man, I need to move to Pigeon Forge. I heard their taxes were low, but come on, that site must be wrong. So the problem with anything built in the late 90s and early 2000s in Pigeon Forge was the lack of online information. I'm sure I could dig up some microfiche in the library somewhere from old news articles, but that's above and beyond me at this point in my life. And if you're too young to know what microfiche is, it's best you just look it up yourself. You wouldn't believe me if I tried to explain it. Because of the serious lack of online data, the facts I could find were very limited. If any of you have more to share, please feel free to do so in the comments. Anyway, back to Jurassic Boat ride. Not my Jurassic Age. The dark ride was designed to slowly move guests through a series of dinosaur scenes. As I've already pointed out, it's a dark ride. You will board a small boat which will transport guests back to the Jurassic era. The ride is contained within the 700,000 square foot building and the track is 1,200 feet long. Quite impressive, really. As you enter the building, the doors behind you shut and you're in complete darkness. This makes photography very challenging, so most of my footage is kind of shoddy. Sorry about that. You have plenty of time to take photos, look around, read a book, watch the Titanic. Oh yeah, the ride is that slow. You will definitely get your money's worth, though it's supposed to be an 11-minute ride. I think the clock broke and we entered a time warp zone once we got on the boat. So 11 minutes? No. I'm not going to horrify you by showing each and every scene you will encounter during your torturously slow journey through the Jurassic history. Along the way, you'll see the classics such as Tyrannosaurus rex, a Triceratops, a Stegosaurus with its distinctive back plates and spiky tail, and one of my favorites, a pterodactyl. This one is seen flying above guests as it takes a little child away to feast on, or at least that was my interpretation. There is no doubt that the original artists and engineers really put a lot of heart and soul into the creation of this ride. The attention to details and use of mechanics available in the early 2000s was ingenious. Each scene was given attention and care to simulate a genuine Jurassic experience. One of my favorite examples of the technology from the early 2000s was the Tyrannosaurus, or at least I think that's what it was, as it was running by the boat. You can't see me do this, but I used air quotes when I said running, as the legs just flop around below the body as a track moves it. I also love the octopus. I think that's what it was. Maybe it was a kraken. I apologize now for that awful footage, but it was a dark place. I have to say, it was interesting looking behind the boat at the mechanics of the ride. There appears to be a track of sorts below the boat, but there were large wooden arms that seemed to do the heavy lifting. These arms propelled the boat forward. The big finale scene is where you really got to see the age of the ride and how it's impacting the experience. When you got to the last dinosaur, snake, anaconda, I'm not sure what it was supposed to be. I guess it was supposed to be scary. I don't know, I just laughed. Hey, I was having fun. But the early creators wanted to set the stage for the big finale by putting boat riders in a separate space. This also might have been done to help resettle the water in different parts of the ride. One thing that Disney taught water-based ride creators is that when you add an element of water to a ride, you need to get creative with redistribution of the water and large humps. Anyway, when the boat reached the final staging area, guests were closed in behind two doors and, well, you sat there in the dark for a long time, just sitting there. You can see the animatronics sitting there in the dark by the ceiling. Then you start questioning if the ride broke down. Finally, the creature is lit up and wiggles its head for a minute and roars, and that's it. The ride's over. I just laughed and laughed. Now, is this a family-friendly ride? Well, it's supposed to be, but the faceless mannequin standing outside the scene where the T-Rex is attacking poor helpless Brontosaurus, I think that's what that was, sets a dark tone before you even enter the ride. And then there's also the child being taken away by the pterodactyl, and in the fact that the ride is very dark, slow moving, and the soundtrack is perfect for some kind of horror movie in the jungle, I'm sure you can imagine your little ones freaking out. It can be a little intense for sure. If you do want to take your kiddo on this ride, you may have them watch a POV and help them understand what they'll be seeing and experiencing before getting on. Also, I'm pretty sure this wasn't intentional, but after reviewing my footage, this image you see on the screen just freaked me out. I don't think it was supposed to be anything really, but does that look demonic to you? Because it sure does me. Now, if your little ones love dinosaurs and you're not sure if this is a good ride to take them on, I would consider heading over to the newest golf course in Pigeon Forge attached to the Goats on the Roof mountain coaster. This golf course is outside, and they added some really good robotic dinosaurs to the course. Not scary, dark forest scenes with demons or children being taken away. So, I mean, it might be a better experience for younger ones to take them there instead. So, is this ride worth your time? Well, most people certainly wouldn't be putting it on their bucket list of things to do and see if this is your first and only time to Pigeon Forge. But me, I'll admit it was on my personal bucket list of things to do. No one wanted to do it with me. I really wanted to try the ride, and I had fun. The price was kind of steep, 20 bucks, and I couldn't find any discounts or coupons when I was there. Would I do it again? Probably not. Once is enough. But if you're looking for a good laugh or just interested in the artistry of the past, you might want to consider trying this ride. I hope this video helps you plan your visit to the Smoky Mountains. You're getting an honest review from our personal experiences, but facts and things change, so please keep us in the loop if you learn anything new and want to share your experiences in the comments. Thanks again for visiting us at Bear Facts of the Smoky Mountains. Please click that like button and subscribe to our channel.